It's my pleasure to welcome you here today to one of our Bluebell lectures. About 2 years ago, on the 150th anniversary of the establishment in the United States, our college decided to recommit itself to that mission of teaching, research, and service for the public good, and decided on 5 grand challenges: feed the world, protect our environment, improve our health, enrich our youth, and grow our economy, and dedicate ourselves to that as an organization, as an institution. And we've had, over the course of those 2 years, a series of lectures with preeminent thinkers, both from business, from government, from NGOs, to come in and help us stimulate our thought, really, and come up with some creative solutions and some just to inspire us toward those grand challenges. And so we're pleased to hear today one of those preeminent thinkers, who I hope will inspire you to get more involved and to embark on new directions in your life if you're a new student just beginning your career, or for those faculty and administrators in the room to continue that as well. So to introduce the speaker, I've asked Dr. Elsa Morano, the Interim Director of the Borlaug Institute for International Agriculture, to come up and do that. Again, welcome.
Howdy. Well, it is a great pleasure to introduce Mr. Simmons here this afternoon. The Borlaug Institute for International Agriculture follows the great legacy of Dr. Norman Borlaug, the father of the Green Revolution. And if you don't know who Dr. Borlaug was, I urge you to go to our website and you will find out everything about him, especially the fact that he saved many, many, many lives through agricultural science and his work as a plant scientist. So Mr. Simmons being here with us represents really what I think Dr. Borlaug would have said is the next generation of hunger fighters. He has been a hunger fighter for all his career. He serves as the president and CEO of Elanco, as you know, which is a division of Eli Lilly and Company. He joined Eli Lilly, I believe, in 1989. Is that close enough? And he served in their various roles: sales representative for the animal health division. He was also in international marketing, geographic business leader for Brazil and Western Europe. So he certainly knows the industry very, very well. And he's a great visionary. The first time I met Mr. Simmons, Jeff, he went up to the Borlaug Institute offices and was drawing on our whiteboard all of his ideas about how we can address this enormous grand challenge of feeding 9 billion people who will be on this planet by the year 2050. So without further ado, I'd like to have you give a warm Aggie welcome. His daughter is thinking about becoming an Aggie. So make sure that we make him feel very, very welcome so he can tell her there's no other choice. You have to come to A&M. So please help me welcome Mr. Jeff Simmons.
Thank you so much. Howdy. All right. I just came from the May School. I got my first Aggie joke. You know, what do you call an Aggie 5 years after graduation? The boss. I love that. It's good. It's good. I'll take that back to Cornell. Say you're going to work for Aggies, you Cornellians. Hey, listen, I'm excited to have a little fun with you. I promise those in the back I won't take long, and I'll get right at it. I just want to first offer some thank yous. Dr. Sams, the Borlaug Institute, Julie Borlaug, and Gabe, Dr. Morano, and I have had an amazing day, and the AgriLife coordination team, Liz, Angel, Michaela, Amy, Catherine, I have been all over and I've been touched. I said after I leave today, I'm ready for another month of business after 1 week on this, or 1 day on this campus. So I have to say Saturday afternoon, I was checking the phone, I was in the middle of something, and I was like, come on, we need a win. I don't want to go down there after the Razorbacks. We're not going to lose to them. So way to go. Hey, listen, I want to start with this, and I want to have fun. I'm no expert. I'm no probably hunger fighter, and I don't belong in the same sentence as Norman Borlaug, but that's why I'm here, okay? This guy inspired me, and there is a quote that says, and I read this a long time ago, actually in 2000 in Brazil. I heard him and was following him a little bit then. I was living down there, but I now say that the world has the technology either available or well advanced in the research pipeline to feed on a sustainable basis a population of 10 billion. He said this in 2000. The more pertinent question today is whether farmers and ranchers will be permitted to use this new technology. Let me say 14 years later, we have all the technology, ideas. It isn't just a technology, but it's ideas and practices. And why I'm here today is it's his 100th birthday. And I just want to highlight to say, I believe I'm standing in front of, I truly do, probably the best institute of leadership, agriculture, food. He spent a lot of time here. This is the time, though. I truly believe that by 2050, that's you, your generation, the generation of the Aggies right now, at 2050, at the end of your career, we'll have a food secure world. And you will be the leaders that make it happen. So I said I have to come when I was here earlier, and I will come back to just convey a message. If I can light the fire inside just a few of you, the hunger inside a few of you, we will end hunger by 2050. What do you say to that? Huh? Come on. Jeez. Purdue made a little more noise than that. Just kidding. Just kidding. It's 4 o'clock. Come on. All right. So let's start. Come with me. It's about stories. And about 5 years ago, I said, I can't stand any more PowerPoint slides. I gotta go. And I kept hearing, I even was saying 25,000 people die every day of hunger. And I had a crazy idea, and I loaded 5 20-year-olds on a plane with me, and we went to Kenya. So I want to tell 2 stories that share the spectrum of this issue, okay? And then I want to share something up close I saw today. And then I'll give you a quick little short message, and we'll go eat some ice cream. All right? So come with me to the largest slum in the world and just outside of Nairobi, Kenya, okay? In Kibera. And I remember distinctly his feet. His name was Wilson. He sat on the end of this box in the back of the shed. I remember the smell of the mud in that room that day. His head was down. I'm in hunt for hunger. And I'm sitting there, and he wouldn't look at me. And he looks over, and he kept saying, I wasn't here. I wasn't here for her. I didn't take care of her. I was in and out of her life. And there was this silhouette. There was this white sheet, this makeshift bedroom inside this small hut. And I could see this body laying there, and it was his daughter. And I could hear her breathing heavily, his teenage daughter. And this man that won't look me in the eyes. And what I learned was it was the malnourishment of not getting fed for days and an onset of a disease. And she was within a few days of her life. And I'm going to be very candid and honest with you that as a father of 6, sitting there, I replaced her with one of my kids. And in the hunt for hunger, I found shame. I found a parent's shame. And it ripped me up. See, I thought if hunger was going to be our company's cause and my cause, I had to go see it. And in my hunt for hunger, I found shame. But I also learned when I got back home that you don't have to go 4 continents away. I went 4 blocks down the road from our headquarters in Indianapolis. Listen to me. And I sat with this mother named Teresa, and this is actually what broke me. It wasn't Africa. And I sat with this mother, and she had white Velcro shoes on, and there was one common connection between the two. She wouldn't look at me either. And as I asked questions, you could see the frustration in her. Why is he asking me these questions? And I'm trying to understand this urban hunger and obesity. And she looks up at me and says, listen, you don't understand. I use part of my SNAP dollars for bus fees to get to the grocery store. Most of the time, my food comes from gas stations and convenience stores. I later learned 3 million families in America live more than 10 miles from a grocery store. Then she tells me, and you want to talk about milk and eggs and meat? Listen, son, that's outside of the edge of the store. We can't afford that. I just work and shop on the inside of the store because I can buy more food. And then she said something. She goes, I just want to fill them up. Hunger was just a problem to her. Meals were just get it done. I don't want the kids to complain anymore about eating. And then something changed. I asked a question I kind of wonder if I should have even asked, but it changed me. I asked her, if there's one thing you could change, what would it be? And she turned and she looked at me and the tears started to roll off her face and her hand started to shake. And I remember looking at her hand and she said, if I could change one thing, it would be the worst part of my day. When I have to send my 10-year-old daughter down the sidewalk to school, I hate it because she's fat in the body and skinny in the mind. She can't compete. She won't be able to. And as a mother, I'm not doing justice. And I remember walking across the parking lot and inside I was burning up. And I remember distinctly sitting in my car, not able to turn the car on. And one word came over me. And it was wrong. This is wrong. 4 blocks from our company, I'm some leader in food that's going to make food more accessible and affordable. And I got a mother that hates 8 a.m. in the morning sending her kid to school. We make this wrong a right. Our company, myself, no more political correctness at all. Are you with me? And that's exactly, I know, the fire that was burning in a bright mind and an amazing body in Norman Borlaug, and there's nobody that saved more people than the man that this building was named after. And I think it's on the 100th anniversary of his life, we absolutely catapult and create a catalytic movement. That's what we're going to talk about briefly today. I believe there's 3 very important days. I'm getting a little personal. Sorry. My goal is just to stimulate. I need 5 of you to walk out here on fire. There's 3 most important days of your life, not the day you're born. Sorry. Not the day you get your ring. I learned about that. My gosh, my daughter, she walked around here, tradition 1, tradition 2, tradition 3, 4. Dad, this is amazing. Stood there petting that ring. Come on, you guys. Jeepers. Anyway, so I should have added a little bubble if I was thinking the day you get your ring. So there's 4 days to an Aggie. But I think there's the day you find your why, the day you find your hunger is an important day. And that to me, I think was in that parking lot, in that where it just, I overcame and couldn't turn the car on and tears rolled off my face. And I no longer was politically correct anymore. I don't care. The second day is the day you decide, I'm going to do something about it. We're going to give you an option today to feed your hunger. And the third is, I'm sorry, I call it Judgment Day. What did you do with what you were given? History will judge us. History will judge your generation. And I want history to say, this is the generation that made hunger no more. There may be poverty, but there's enough of food available for everybody. History will judge you. Your kids will judge you. Okay? Alumni will judge you. Maybe there's even bigger. There's a bigger Judgment Day. No regrets. No regrets at all. And I'll say, my one question to you is, how hungry are you? I believe the hunger inside of us is the solution to the hunger in the people that don't get food. I saw a lot of that today. I want to share an example today, something I've never seen in a decade of traveling around the world. I knew there was a 12th man. I learned about the 12th man, but today I learned about the 12th can. I've never known anywhere around the world of an on-campus food bank. But students on this campus started one. 1/3, I understand, are graduate students that come here and struggle a little bit with money and studies and not being able to get that job, and they're coming. Over 200 families being fed here, people. And then there's people here locally on staff and people that are moving and busy that are on that edge that just, hey, where's the next meal going to come from? And some's even here from the community. And I met somebody that's got an absolute fire in his heart. And I met students, and I didn't realize, I knew there was a service orientation here, but I left this lunchtime session saying, oh, this is going to happen. And the Aggies are going to be the ones that lead the world to make it happen. I met this guy, Derek McKee, and I'm going to ask Derek to come up here, share a little bit of the story of his why, his hunger, and an opportunity for all of us. Derek McKee, give this guy a round of applause. This is a representation of who you are right here. Well done.
Well, howdy, everybody. So I wanted to inform you a little bit about the 12th Can. The 12th Can is an on-campus food pantry for students, faculty, and staff at the university. Our goal is to eliminate food insecurity at Texas A&M University. We have various students at our university currently that cannot feed themselves. Whether it be an international graduate student that after paying their rent, they can't afford to go to the grocery store, or whether it be a staff member that's actually helping maintain the grounds, there are hungry people here. You may not realize the person sitting next to you is hungry because it's a very personal issue. But the only way we can combat that personal issue is to solve hunger here. And the only way we can do that is helping support this cause. So the 12th can has been operating since November of 2013. We've distributed roughly 9,000 pounds of food so far, and we're expanding every single month. We really need your support. We need food drives. We need marketing. We need brand recognition. And more than anything, we need awareness of this hunger problem. We are the Aggie family. We can solve this issue, but we need you to help us.
Well done. Thank you. So, we're going to give you a little opportunity.
I want to just highlight something that we're pretty taken with this. And one thing we decided was what they're doing there, when you see a hungry face, when you greet somebody, when you put them in their car with food, something changes. We all need, there's a reason you go to church every Sunday, or you get together as a group and get fired up and go to the Scream Fest before the football games or whatever you call it. We need to get fueled up, right? I say seeing a hungry face fuels a lot of people up. And so what we do and what we decided is we're going to, in Elanco, break the cycle of hunger in 100 communities around the world, and we're at 49. What's that mean? For 1 year, we take a group of people, 100 families, 100 people. There's one in Amarillo, Texas. There's a bunch in China and Africa. And our goal is break the cycle. And because we're so taken with what's going on here, we're making the 50th one by saying, hey, help Derek and his team. Jump in there and help. We're going to take the worry of food in all of 2015 off the table. Elanco will provide enough food to feed the existing families. You jump on and help build the organization. We'll take that worry away. So there's the 49 communities. And we're adding a 50th today at Texas A&M in the 12th Can Pantry by taking the food off. All right? So go make it happen. We're going to give you two things at the end. One is a place to jump right in here on campus. And it's bringing food. It's joining their organization, volunteering a little time. Do it. Go walk down an aisle. Our family does it every week. My wife and my kids. It changes you, okay? And come to the big event and other things and make this your cause. The second is we'll invite you to join a movement at the end here, okay? So, hey, we got to shift our paradigms. It's not just hunger, it's food security. It's not just a crisis, it's solutions. This is positive. We can do this, okay? It's not just listening, but it's taking action, and I think it's much more about a movement. And it's a wider spectrum. We can't just talk about the 25,000, but it's the people that don't have meat. It's the daily hunt for meals. It's the quality. It's Teresa's child that's not eating eggs but Pop-Tarts in the morning. It's what we saw right here is what's happening on Texas A&M is the edge. I'm maybe 1 week away from not having the food to fill the cupboards. That's what the 12th can's doing. Or we're going to protect the tradition of food around the world. Do you understand? There's many faces. I saw some new ones today. Hey, there's 3 numbers. I always say you got to be able to put it on a napkin. My dad's a farmer in upstate New York. He always says if you can't say it on a napkin, with just a couple things at a coffee shop, Jeff, you can't say it. So put all the darn computers away. Here's my napkin for my teenage daughter or someone on an airplane. 3 numbers. If I do my Norman Borlaug on a plane, it's 3. Well, what do? I'm in the food business. I'm going to help solve world hunger. Here's the 3 numbers you can take out of here. You don't even need to write them down. There's 3 billion people moving into the middle class. It's one of the most positive stories in the world right now. There's more people moving in the middle class per week than any time in the history of man. And a lot of it's going to happen in the next 20 years. That then drives the second number, which is 60. 60% more meat, milk, and eggs is because when you start making a little more money, you want to get off just the plant diet. Are you with me? Fish, milk, eggs, meat. So there's a 60% increase. Really? Yes. Today, there's more of a meat, milk, and egg shortage, and prices are an all-time high. So it's happening. But here's the third thing why we need Aggies, and why Norman Borlaug said we need leadership. We need smart minds. We need to do it because World Wildlife Fund says, hey, we got a planet and a half we're living on. Middle of August, we go past the day that we've used up the resources we should in a year. The rest of the time, we live on that. So we got to do it with less. 360, 1.5 says to feed the world, we need to be able to do it with smart people, leaders, and you're in ag engineering, and there's a better practice to animal science, to biotech, to communications. We got to do it differently. So that's why I think this is an instrumental window of time to an amazing group of people. That's the why. Is it really happening? Come on. No, it is. Protein gap is increasing. Global prices are an all-time high. I use the old this. Okay, I always say if I can't tell my wife's book club, bunch of non-farming, don't get it. I always get out the glasses of milk and I say, we have 1 glass of milk per person around the world. By the way, Americans and Europeans drink 3, mostly in Greek yogurt and pizza cheese, not in milk. Ice cream too, Bluebell ice cream. Okay, we need 2 glasses. 1 glass we have, we need 2. That's simple. How do we do that? Well, there's 2 ways to do it. And first people say, do you really need to do it? I had someone over at the May School say, hey, I got a relative that said, hey, let's stop consuming animal protein. And there's Meatless Mondays, which I tweet about pretty aggressively at times. That's a choice. But this study, and there's many studies being done. I'm going to Arkansas next, and there's some discussions down there, and there's studies being done with a big meat company down there. But it shows that, hey, in a 5 semesters of Kenyan kids, their test scores went down 10%, the control group. Okay, equivalent energy given to them, okay? In minerals, scores went down 7% over the 5 semesters. Milk diet went up 28%, a meat diet went up 45%. American dietitians and many others can go on to say, meat, milk, animal protein help cognitive skills. A group this size, there's many vegetarians in here, there's religious constraints on meat, milk, totally understand that. Choice is important for everybody. But to say, hey, I want to take your choice away, it's a little different. Meat, milk, and eggs is needed. How do we do it? Well, there's 2 ways to do it. One way is we add more cows. If we add more cows to fill the needing 2 glasses, have 1. This is one example. You can do beef, poultry. You need 40 million more cows. We have 9 million in the U.S., almost 5 dairy industries in the U.S. We're living on a planet and a half, folks. We can't do it. Organic, we'd need 60 million. And if we stopped everything, the Norman Borlaug, we can't use innovation, we need 104 million. Or we need this. We need about 4 ounces of milk. Don't you analytical people in here, that's probably not 4 ounces, but you get the idea, right? What do you mean? This is our solution. It's either that or this. And I think it's this. Well, what do you mean? Well, the global dairy cow produces a little under 2 gallons of milk a day. The Texan dairy cow produces over 10. Yes, okay? What we need is globally to just improve this much more per cow per day for the shortness of about 10 years. And we got the gap filled. Are you with me? We don't need more animals. We need more productive animals, healthier animals, and better engineered facilities. That's our answer right here. And I think it's that simple. That's our challenge. So on the way to Washington, D.C. one night, I hate going to Washington, D.C., walking around, talking to the politicians, talking in circles, both sides of the aisle. I always leave there depressed. Okay, those of you political science people, go for it. We need help over there, okay? I stopped in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I was too tired. I'm like, I don't want to go to Washington. We stopped. I stopped, got a flight, went into Harrisburg or Lancaster, went to a dairy farm. I heard about this dairy farm, and I milked cows before I went to Washington that night. Because I wanted to say, I want to see the reality of this. I met a family farm. 96% of all the farms in America, in the world, are family farms. The other is, I found that the woman was running the farm. Sorry, guys, but globally, women produce more food than men. Sorry. Okay. It's the way it is. Okay. We okay with that? All right. 118 cow dairy. They've had 118 cows for 10 years. Big doesn't matter. Innovative does. They've had the same number of cows, and over that period of time, they've increased production 16 cups per cow. That's a cup and a half. It got cut off. That's 3 times what we need per year. So I'm sitting there going, they've done it. They can do it. Family generation, they're using less land, less feed, less water. Okay, so I said, you've done it. I'm doing the calculation. I go, how'd you do it? And they walked me around. And what I learned was, hey, no, it was the soft rubber mats that the cows stand on. It was the genetic program. It was the reproduction program. They pointed to the alfalfa fields and say 6 times a year we cut it at the right time. And yeah, we use some biotechnology that's approved by the FDA, and we've worked with their processor and we can use it. And with all of that, they proved to me that this is very, very possible. You need a hunger inside. You also need faces to look at to say they're the heroes that can help make it happen. Mary Lou and Neil were my heroes to say, hey, we can make this happen. So it's innovation, it's choice, and it's trade. And I think those are the three solutions. Innovation's key. It's 70% of the answer. But now everyone's here, and as I close, I got to end with this. I got to show you one little short video. Do consumers really want it? Do consumers really want us to do what you all have to do by 2050? Okay. Well, let's just take a look. Has anyone in here ever heard of Portlandia? Raise your hand. Okay, good. So you watched this show. So let's take a look real quick at what we're up against. It's not just Duck Dynasty. Here's the other show.
I'm the only one that told me that.
No, I don't like enough like people when I was a kid, like, you've got great eyes. It's like, I'm just a guy.
You're my guy.
I am your guy.
Hey guys. Hello.
Hi, hello.
My name is Dana. I'll be taking care of you today. If you have any questions about the menu, please let me know.
I guess I do have a question about the chicken. If you could just tell us a little bit more about it.
The chicken is a heritage breed.
Oh no, I don't want to have to reenact this.
Woodland raised chicken that's been fed a diet of sheep's milk, soy, and hazelnuts.
Okay, this is local?
Absolutely.
What if you just went to and it's local?
It is.
Is that USDA organic or Oregon organic or Portland organic?
It's just all across the board organic.
Hazelnut, was it local?
How big is the area where the chickens are in the room for you?
I'm sorry to interrupt, I had exactly the same question.
4 acres. Give me just a second, I'll be right back. Okay.
Nice. What are you doing over there?
I'm too apologetic.
You are.
I drove way too slow here today, didn't I? I am so weird with that gas pedal, it just moves the whole vehicle forward now.
Right, so here is the chicken we'll be enjoying tonight.
You have this information, this is fantastic.
Absolutely. His name was Colin. Good.
It looks like a happy little dragon. Chicken his friend, putting his little wing around another one and kind of like palling around.
I don't know that I can speak to that level of intimate knowledge about him. They do a lot to make sure that their chickens are very happy.
When you say they, I mean, who are these people raising Colin?
It's a farm that's located about 30 miles south of Portland.
Would you have a good relationship with this farm?
Me too.
I got some guy on a yacht who lives in Miami, was just saying that he's organic.
It tears at the core of my being, the idea of someone just cashing in on a trend like organic.
No, I never typed that in.
Tell you what, we can check it out if you don't mind, just maybe before seats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Dan.
All right. So, consumers matter. And I think all of you here in your generation need to, and I want to just share a couple insights. We have to think about the consumer a lot more than Norman Borlaug did 40 years ago. Are you with me? This is absolutely critical. But I believe that there's some exciting things as you start to listen to the consumer. And I believe strongly that organic, natural, we've got technology in that area and helping advance. That's a choice. Not eating meat, as I said, is a choice. That's really, really important. But we got to enable choice. Here's a couple things. First of all, we've done a study again of collecting every research study that's ever been done on meat, milk, and eggs with technology and plants and grains. But we look at 2 criteria real quick, and I'm wrapping up here. Is there an unaided question? And the unaided question is, hey, what's important to you when you buy milk or meat? The other one is, give me your card from HEB and where you spend money. Today, the surveys in Europe say 30% people want organic, and grocery stores are recording 7% purchases. What they say and what they do can be a little different. When you put all that together, what we're learning here over and over is pretty simple. 95% want food. They want taste, they want cost, they want nutrition. I like this brand. What's the price? What's the fat, calorie content? 4% can be the segment or can be the product is luxury. Organic, local, gardens. That's 99% that want taste, cost, nutrition, and money doesn't matter in this category. There's 1% or so that say, no, this is so personal to me. It's really personal that I'm going to make it political, or I'm going to make it a change of the way animals or grains are raised. And I think we just need to keep that in perspective. I also think an ending here is to say, we also got to use today the information that we have. We have set up a consumer insight center. McDonald's, Walmart, Tyson, others get data from this room, and we monitor the conversation that all of you are participating in. My generation grew up with, or my dad's generation grew up with CBS News, and we just read the headlines. Today, we can find out how many mentions on, let me take an example. I'll show this information this week to a major retailer. They want to know what happened in July and August on how many mentions in antibiotics in meat and milk and eggs. And what it quickly says is, hey, if you're not at 5,000 or so mentions per day for 3 days in a row, be careful, don't react. Okay, watch and monitor. This gives you a sense of where the conversation is on antibiotics in the month of July. And you can see if 5,000 is an issue for a long period of time, it hasn't really been a significant issue. We've got to monitor the consumer. We got to give them what they want. But we got to also listen and not overreact. I believe what's being done here with the communications group, and this is a real opportunity of the future, I think. Okay? And this gives you an idea of, hey, in July, the Malaysian Airlines hit 1.5 million. You know, antibiotics for the whole month was at 30,000. Let's keep things in perspective. Okay? Consumers matter. So I wrap by saying this. Man, oh man, I'm looking for 5 people to say, this is important. Find your hunger. Feed your hunger. Okay? Don't have any regrets. Look at this as my window of time right now, my window of time in life, my window of time in an issue that I can help change by 2050. What can you do? I'd say, think about this. If this isn't your cause, find a cause. Because you know what? Hungry people don't worry about political correctness or work-life balance. They live different lives. And I sat here in your seat back in 1989, getting ready to graduate from Cornell, and I wish that I didn't have to take 15 years to find my hunger. Find it and feed it. Join this Enough movement. We're going to ask you to get on your phones and go to enough.com or enoughmovement.com, get a t-shirt on the way out, and we'll drop you something every few weeks, just something for a napkin conversation. And join. We're trying to get 10,000 people to be part of this movement to say, hey, I'm going to be part of a 2050 food secure world. Do that. And grab a t-shirt, I think, on the way out. If not, they're not. Is that right, Julie? Yeah. Okay. We have 50%, so rush to the back as fast as, no, I'm just kidding. Okay. Be an advocate. I think the most important thing is what Derek and his team's doing. Okay. Get behind them. Make this one of the most lively, fast-growing, changing food banks in the world, and the only one I know of on a campus. And know that Elanco will be looking at 10,000 advocates. We're making 2,000 impressions a week. We're trying to break the cycle of hunger in 100 communities, and we're trying to bring innovation that's going to feed over 300 million people, more from what's in our pipeline in meat, milk, and eggs. It's been an exciting day. We've met with the leadership here. We're looking forward to more collaborations on the leadership side, and more importantly is we see the future leaders. Come tomorrow to that recruiting day. We're out here. We need more Aggies inside Elanco, okay? Gig 'em, howdy, thank you for everything, and go get your iced tea.